All right. We have a almost full group. And it's good to see Kikob back and Lynn's back, obviously. But anyway, it feels much more full than it has the last day or the last meeting or two. But we've been plodding along. Any announcements? Um, well, I guess it's up to Bill then. You still going to be education director today?
I guess so.
Rock and
You
roll.
honored me with that position and pay grade, so I guess I have to fulfill my responsibilities. Well, the next challenge that we have is artificial light. And, this can mean a number of different things. It can be an outdoor shot at night with maybe some street lights in the area, like of a tree or something like that. You could do some light painting by just getting an LED flashlight, setting it up on a tripod and have a long exposure and just kind of light up something. It can be a tree or a fence if you want to create a bright leading line. Frank Husking had talked about one time about one of these, which is just a light source that you can put either on top of your camera or you can just have it lay on the side. It has the ability to different intensities, and it also has the ability to change the temperature of the light. So if anybody, it's really easy to learn how to change it. So if anybody in the meantime wants to borrow it for a few days to give it a shot, feel free. We can meet someplace and hand it off. But the one thing we did talk about is the white balance a couple of weeks ago. Maybe try to get a little creative using white balance. On your camera, there's generally a setting that will tell you if you can use, say, fluorescent lights, incandescent lights, but there's also a portion in there, a setting that may allow you to go to the actual Kelvin number. Now, in your user's manual, if you look under white balance, it'll tell you the average temperature for different kind of lights. It's not just fluorescent and incandescent, but there's I think there's sodium and vapor and a couple of different types. And what I would suggest, don't take a zillion pictures, but take one in RAW and take one in JPEG so you can kind of see the difference. And then it kind of dovetails into what we talked about RAW at our last meeting. So if we can start taking some of these tips and tricks from just listening to them to start applying them, white balance and RAW is a perfect two right here to add together to do artificial light. And then for anybody who has a flash unit that's been a little hesitant on using or need to learn something, I'm going to send out a couple videos. So that's going to maybe help you feel a little more comfortable with the use of a flash unit with your camera. And as usual, if you're going to be shooting at a slow shutter speed, make sure you use a tripod. And if you're using a tripod, disable your image stabilization. It's called vibration reduction on Nikon and OSS on Sony's. So just try to take a few of these tips and tricks and combine it into this upcoming challenge. I think you'll enjoy seeing the results and how RAW is different than JPEG, and how being able to use something as simple as a $10 flashlight can do some pretty interesting things. And that's it.
Any Any questions?
Bill, yeah, Bill, what kind of light do you have that you attach to your camera? What brand or any
Are you
idea?
talking about this thing?
Yeah,
Or, well, this is, oh, I get this on sale, yeah. It's a Pixel, Pixel G1S. And it's, you know, and it's something I don't use a lot. And that's why I offer it to, have people try it if they want to. Why go out and spend $80 or $90 for something you might use a couple times?
And
but
Bob,
it's something.
Bob, what kind of camera do you have?
I've got a Nikon 750.
All right.
Bill's old camera.
I have 3 speed lights, all Nikon. I have 2 SB 600s and 1 SB 800. And if you want to borrow one, I'd be happy to loan you one.
Yeah, that would be great. I have one more question, and then I'll shut up if I can ask one more.
You can ask as many as you want.
So how far away, if you use that speed light, is it good for 5 feet or 20 feet, or is it just close up of an object?
The SB 800 that I have is the one I use most, and I'd have to go back and look at some of the others, but there are ways that you can actually zoom it, meaning cast the light farther away.
Okay.
The only time I've really had a great use for it was in-house, and in fact, I've got a picture today if we get to it, where I used 2 of the strobes, but I'm scared to death. I have to take some pictures at the Chatham Artists Guild opening reception out at the Smelt on the 5th, and I don't. It has challenged me to use that strobe, but it's something to play with.
And each one is, depending on which one you buy, is how far it will actually go. I have the SB 910, I think it is. And if I remember, when I looked at the user's manual one time, it said it was about 120 feet. So, and I've used it from inside the sunroom here, and I just aimed it out into the house, and it well lit all the way out to about 35 feet.
Okay. Good.
It just depends how much you want to spend, and that's why, again, I have the 910, and if anybody wants to use it, it's there.
Well, and Bob,
I
used is always an option. All 3 that I have, I bought used. So,
Okay.
well, Susan,
I have a completely different question. You were talking about leading lines. I guess, was that when there's like streaks? Is that what you were talking about?
So-
Can you explain? Yeah, I think.
Say if you wanted to take a picture at night here in Farrington with the silo is lit up, but the fences aren't. So if you were going to take a long enough exposure, what you could do is use a flashlight, and as you're exposing it, just have the flashlight go over the fence. That would kind of bring you to the silo.
so
So it's just-
roads, streams, fences, sidewalks to draw you into the picture.
So you'd have a real long, how would you do, would you do a long exposure? Can you explain?
Yeah, like if I were out at night in Farrington and was going to take a picture of the silo, I might be down toward the 15501 end of it, which if you're just off the road, you'd see the fence all the way right up to the silo. Now, I would force the camera to shoot at a high f-stop so that my shutter speed would be really slow. And after I trigger that, say if I have a 15-second shutter speed, I could take the flashlight and just aim it at the fence going up and down and hope that it would bring it, to a brightness that would just kind of bring you to the silo. I mean, we're talking something that's probably a little more sophisticated there, but find a tree at night and put your camera on a tripod and have an exposure of a couple seconds and take the flashlight and just, flash it on there. If this is something that maybe we can find a good night sometime, maybe we want to get a group together in Farrington and just do it.
That'd be good.
Yeah, we
That-
did.
That would cause streaks in the picture, or what
Nope.
would it? No?
It'll just lightly brighten up the white fence that leads to the silo, because the silo here in Farrington is lit up, but the fence isn't. So if you took a picture of the silo, you might barely see the fence at all. But by just putting a little light on it from a flashlight, could just bring it up enough to kind of guide you through the picture to the silo.
Yeah, do a search for light painting. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. But again, for this challenge, we have different kind of bulbs in our house. We have incandescents, we have LEDs. Some people might have fluorescents in their workshops. All these can be used. It doesn't have to be a big production, but just so that we get a feeling and maybe get out of our comfort zone of actually using artificial light.
All
Question,
right.
you keep talking about speed lighting and strobe lighting. What are the difference in those two terms?
The term.
What is a speed light?
The term is the
It's a-
difference.
Manufacturer.
Yeah, you used to call it flash, because it was flash bulbs. But yeah, different manufacturers. Nikon Speedlight, and I don't know what Canon is, but there's no difference. It's just a manufacturer's brand. And there are a lot of there are a lot of generic strobes that a lot of people believe are every bit as good as the Nikon and whatever else is out there, and a lot cheaper. And if you're not going to use one a whole lot, then that makes a lot of sense. But if you do a search on, I would start with B&H and look for their non-branded or their third market or third party equipment, and then maybe find it on eBay as well, or
Because there's
Amazon.
usually, like Mike said before, the used market's probably a good place to go because, I've had this speed light now for 5 years. And that one picture that I told you about that I took from here out into the rest of the house, that's the only picture I've ever used.
Okay,
So,
I'll talk to Bill, and one of my SB 600s may bite the dust. He's my dealer.
So I'm sure that a lot of used speedlights or flashes are going to be because people realize they just don't use it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have 3 if I hadn't found them cheap. So, all right, ready to get to photos?
Yeah.
I probably should have been doing this all along, but here's the order: Bob, Chuck, Larry, Bill, Tom, Helen, and then we get to people that might not be here, but we'll deal with that when we get to the end here. So let me share my screen. Had this set up and now I don't have it set up.
And my contractor is here, so I may have to be in and out during this time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
And let me,
interesting.
Just a side note, you saw a JPEG on that when I did it. Yesterday I changed my camera to RAW. So anyway, this is, as you can see, it's a jar that was washed up at the beach, and it had a message inside, and I didn't know who sent it, and so here it is. Can you show the next picture, Mike?
yep, I will if I can.
I quickly realized that I actually probably knew who sent it. It was 9 out of 10. It was Bill Cohen. So, and any of you that believe this actual story, I need to talk to you later.
Yeah, the glass is a little too clean.
Yeah, that's what I realized that, but again, it's a story. So anyway, that's it. I used f11. I'll get to the more technical part. F11 aperture, 12,800 on both pictures, automatic ISO, 1/5 of a second in aperture mode also. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it.
Well, I've got one suggestion for you, Bob,
Yes.
is in between the use a tripod and press slowly, put in
Uh-oh.
turn off vibration reduction.
Okay. Good idea. Good. Thank you.
Well, there's merit in the pictures themselves. The first one, the depth of field is really nice. The jar itself, not so much the lid, but the background in particular is nice and fuzzy. And then this one is just really tack sharp, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Lighting's nice.
I like that you can see like raindrop patterns, I think, on the second one on the sand.
Or little bitty bugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This
was the ocean that was at was Jordan Lake Ocean.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Bill did a 3-panel story last time, and now this one, and and I talked about having a video challenge, but maybe what we need is a 3-panel, 4-panel, 5-panel tell a story set for some challenge, but creative, Bob, and nicely done.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it was just fun to do something different.
This is from Chuck.
This is literally a glass it's one of my favorite glasses. It was a gift that was given to me by a business associate in Italy, and it comes from Murano, which is an island near Venice, and it's just a beautiful, delicate piece of hand-blown glass, and I don't use it a lot, but I just like to, but it feels nice. It has a kind of an irregular shape. You can sort of see it's like indented, and it just has some really cool patterns. And I used to create my studio, I used my kitchen island, which has a lot of natural light and a lot of incandescent light sources from a couple of different directions. And then I also used my speed light, not attached to my camera. And I got to say, Bill, every time I use a speed light with my camera, I got to look up and read. And it's because I don't use it's very complicated, I think. But anyway, I used it just on the on mode to get another little bit of fill light in from, I think it was on the image left. But that sheet that I used, talking about, I messed with the Kelvin setting because it was reflecting back a very blue. It's a white sheet, but I think it's polyester, and it was reflecting back very blue, which you can kind of see it there. So I was trying different Kelvin readings to try to get a little more orange in there, and ended up fixing it in post and I think it's fairly pleasing to my eye, that a little bit of that blue, but it's also got some gold in there. It kind of matches what's going on in the glass. But it was let me get my specs here. Real low IS. I was using a tripod, so it's 100 ISO, and it was 82 millimeter focal length and f9, and at 1/4 of a second. So kind of a long exposure. And I did turn off my VR, Bill.
Yay.
Remembered this time, yeah.
Now I know where they got the name for my car. I have
You're
an
on.
Arano.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Probably right.
That's right, yeah.
The
Huh.
way the background is in there is really beautiful, Chuck. I mean,
Yes.
the way that you managed to get all those.
Oh, thank
folds,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I just used that was my homemade studio. I just took a cardboard box and draped that over it, and yeah, it came out fine.
Yeah, it's not really nice. I'd be afraid to touch that glass.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Good shot.
Very nice.
Now this one, this is on the street in Brevard. As I wrote to Mike, I said, this is me putting the ass in glass since 1951, but you can see my image in the background. And of course, this is a store in Brevard where we were a couple weeks ago when I did this, and it's called Mantiques, and they have collectibles and antiques that appeal ostensibly to males. So that hence the name Mantique, and they always have interesting windows. And I just saw this. We were driving by to go to our favorite bakery there, and on the left, I said, "What? Look at that piece of stained glass! I got to take a picture of that." So I came back and did it, and it's really the number 225. But I think they did that on purpose. But anyway.
No.
I did, and the other thing I did here, and you can kind of see it. I did get Elements Plus recently, and there's some, more scripts that are easier to use. I was doing it for another project, but anyway, and here I tried to do, or I did the distortion, and because it was a wide angle lens, I think like an 18 millimeter on this one. So the vertical panels there were bowed to the outside. I fixed that, but the bottom one kind of now goes up in the center. But anyway, that's an interesting tool to play with. And what I did, I think I said it was yes, again, a low ISO, 100 ISO, and it was 18 millimeter, 5.6 at a 60th of a second. So that's that.
The cool
Pretty good
shot.
$12 investment, huh?
Yeah. It's a great $12 investment. And I'm still, I bought it because I'm trying to teach myself how to do star trails, and it involves some other things, but that I think I'm going to use that for the software, but I may end up using a different software specifically for the star trails. We'll see.
The photo stacking.
Photo stacking, yeah, and Elements Plus has 2 photo stackings, one for focus stack and one for noise clearing up. Like, so that's one of the things you have to do when you do that kind of a star trail. You have to turn off the noise function in your camera so that it quickly recycles and is available. You have to repeat the shot quickly, like only a 1 second interval in between exposures, and so you can't let your camera be sitting there clearing up the noise. So anyway, that version, but you have to take many more images. I was experimenting, and I did 15 images, and I can see the trails, but you have to do for almost 2 minutes long, and many of them. So
Well, I thought this sign was, or the the window was just a sloppy mistake until I heard the name of the place that it was found in, and that made it sound deliberate. So, but nice,
yeah,
good one, Chuck. All right,
And
Larry.
like what Chuck said, that it's kind of like, stuff in there for guys, after, if that number in reverse got you upset at all, you better not go in the door.
yeah. Who's to say that guys wanted to see crude stuff anyway? But
Yeah.
okay.
Oh no, what had happened?
What?
I don't know what happened.
What?
There's an image up there, Bill. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's my desktop.
oh, that's your desktop.
Well, that's a good desktop. Well, it said Larry.
Yeah, I did originally.
Yeah.
Somehow I managed to close the. There we go. Can you see?
Back in.
Is that?
Yeah.
Are we back?
We're back to.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was trying to close the speaker window, and I closed too
Oh,
much.
it did it again. It's back to your desktop.
Oh no. Well,
Is this not Larry's picture?
Yeah, that looks like a picture to me.
Larry's
Yeah.
picture, yeah.
oh, it's
Yes, that is.
it's my desktop is a real jumble. So, but are you seeing spigots now, Helen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
This one makes me
this is the
thirsty.
glass part.
I like it.
Yeah.
Great.
Where is that? Where is that tap room? I got to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. That's in Chatham Park. When you first come in, past Bojangles, and
Yeah.
and it's right near the root cellar.
Yes, I know exactly
Oh,
what you're
right.
talking about.
Yeah.
So I walked in and I said, "Do you mind if I take some pictures?" And they, I had to explain, of course, the camera club thing, and she said she was fine with it. So I walked in, took a whole bunch, and this is the best one with the glass. So I tried to focus on the glass, rather than the spigots. The spigots are a little out of focus, but the glass, I think, are clearer.
Yeah.
I did this at a 5.6 with a ISO of 1600 and at a 15th.
Well, as I said, it
Looks good.
me
Yeah,
thirsty.
looks nice.
Looks
And-
very clear.
There- What setting could you have done to make everything sharp? In other words, would there have been a way to get the spigots and the glasses sharp?
Yeah,
Well-
I guess.
I guess I'm asking maybe Bill and Mike if they have
If I heard correctly, the shutter speed was 1/15 of a second.
That's right.
Then the thing that could have improved it a bit is to make sure that the shutter speed was just a little faster. Because this could be just the tiniest of movement that your hand is holding. And, it's just a razor thin difference between maybe having it much sharper is the shutter speed.
I think.
That's,
Go ahead.
no, that,
I think, Larry, that if you really wanted just the glasses sharp, you're probably going to need to crop it so that that's all that's in the picture. I think the spigots and the glass, they're so much on the same plane. They're a bit of difference. but they're so close in the plane that it's going to be a problem to get just one part of that whole image sharp.
Right,
Yeah.
because the shelf that comes across, you can see that you're probably kind of looking up a little bit. So wherever your focus point was in the on the lower 1/3 or the upper 1/3 is again just razor thin difference. Razor thin
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah,
Well, I thought the spigots added to the glass, so
yeah, yeah.
I just went with it.
We could add a text to it saying, "Hey, glasses, what are you doing up there?"
Right?
If you don't know about it, out at the plant where we did that night photography thing, that's where the Smelt art gallery is, that the reception is coming
Right.
up on Sunday. And
At BMC.
that's a pretty big deal brewery as well. BMC, which apparently stands for Bite My Cookies. Not joking, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I highly recommend them. They're a good local
Yep.
brewer.
Yeah, and they have
Get
a
to
lot on
Zoe.
they have a lot on tap.
They do.
All right,
So-
love this one.
Great.
So this
Great.
This is glasses. Glass. Of course, they're probably all plastic, but
There you
Is
go.
Is this in Costco?
no, this is in this is my optometrist's office, and he's right near the tavern.
Yeah, New
Okay.
Visions,
So I
I think. I think it's called New Visions. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
So I told him that was the cheapest visit I've ever made in that office. But they didn't mind, so that's cool. I took this at again, this was a 15th at 6.3 at an ISO of 100 at 45 millimeters. And I took a bunch, but this was, I thought, the best that I could do. So
It's creative.
Yeah,
It
cool.
is.
fun. At least I got a couple of laughs.
Mike, I see a picture in a picture there for sure.
And what's that? Oh, it's Mark. I didn't realize you'd joined us. What's the picture?
Oh
in
yeah,
picture?
man. Wake up, brother. Wake up.
Well, I don't have everybody's face on my screen because it takes up too much room.
Well,
So
that'd be a problem.
what's the picture in
You have
picture?
to scroll.
Well, can't you go in there and crop some of that? There might be a picture in there with maybe three, like in the very center where that vase is.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
kind of like the composition, having all those glasses personally. I mean, there is pictures within pictures, but I think it's also cool to have all those eyeglasses.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think if you tried to do that triangle, it's nice, but you have some interference on both sides,
Right.
and you might have to just clone some of that out. But I was looking for a nose or something that maybe you saw that would be a picture in a picture.
Well, you don't see the nose in the center. Somebody flattened it.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't have a set of glasses with the nose and the mustache on one of them.
Yeah. That would have worked.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Well, creative,
But what's
Larry.
interesting,
Yeah, and I think that is certainly clear for handheld.
Yeah.
now what's
when you're
interesting
in-
is,
Someone.
Larry mentioned that he asked and people were very okay with taking pictures. We were over, Vicky and I were over in Spain one time near Veneros and went into a
One time.
store.
You go there frequently.
And and what we're doing, Vicky, what the way they laid out the vegetables and everything like that were just really nice, the fish. And Vicky went to go take a picture of one of them and people surround her saying, no, 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 no. So different, there are
Wow.
Yeah,
We're
well,
much more lenient here.
yeah, I felt I had a an invested interest in the shop, so.
All right. Next up is
Anyway.
Bill.
Yeah, speaking of when we went to the plant, there is some images that I never really did anything with. So what I decided to do is take a look at this. And this was one of the stores there that sold like popcorn and coffee.
That's excellent. Interesting.
The guy's got a weird do.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like a Boris Johnson do.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
definitely,
It does.
definitely.
And
It
it
looks
just
like
seemed
Bill
like,
back in the day.
yeah, yeah.
Come over, gone astray.
Yeah.
It's also, well, I guess today I'm interested in sharpness, but it's so sharp, Bill. I mean, that's amazing to me how many things in there are just tack sharp. Right.
Yeah, well,
Well,
and it
this
was
is
taken actually at f1.8 because that night that I came down there, I only brought my 50 millimeter because I thought I would try to force myself to find things instead of using a zoom lens. So that nifty 50 is sharp even at 1.8.
well, this is
And
a
what was
pretty
good
heavy.
about it is there's a lot of brush in front of this window. So by me focusing into the subject, it lightened up the plants that were growing in the front there and lets you, it forces you to look more at what's inside the picture instead of distracting it.
Well, Bill, this
But
is a
it felt
pretty
like a lot.
this is a pretty heavy
Go on.
crop too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. But it was kind of like a loneliness kind of thing that I felt when I really came in. I tried to do a little straightening of the edges, but it's kind of odd because I took the picture at just a slight angle and it still seems like a little crooked, even though I've straightened it. And I think it kind of adds to it. I like it. And this was a picture that I totally ignored when after we come back from that little outing.
I think it's terrific, Bill.
Yeah, good.
I read something at 3 o'clock this morning, and this is perfect for it. It's
3 o'clock.
yep. This is a book by James Hillman, a depth psychologist. And he says glass is the metaphor par excellence for psychic reality. And you just hit it right on the head.
Wow.
So yeah, I think this is a really, really nice picture, and it you could look at it for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, one
And
of
this is
the
when we all had the our tripods at least. So when I shot it at 0.3 of a second, and with the image stabilization off, and I did force the ISO to stay down to my minimum down to 6. So I tried to do everything possible to keep it sharp and keep the noise away.
well, I
Tom,
think
can you repeat that?
Tells a nice story, Bill.
Tom,
Yes.
can you repeat that quote?
Yeah, this is a James Hillman, and it's from there's a long section here. It was so ironic that I was reading and all this stuff he's writing. For example, to psychologize, we need to, and listen to that, how this sounds so much like photography language. To psychologize, we need to get closer or even back off for a different perspective, or to look at things from a new angle. It's all
Wow.
photography language. And then he later on he says, watching images on a screen or making images with a camera also present modes of psychologizing, but best of all is glass. And then let's see, glass is the metaphor par excellence for psychic reality. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
And
it was
I'm heavy.
ironic. Ironic that I happened to be reading that this morning right before this.
Yeah. Well, that's deep.
Yeah.
This too is Bill.
Okay, this is
really cool.
another one that I just never gave a second look at. This was one of our trips down to the Outer Banks, and it was the morning. The sun was just coming over the horizon, and I found two interesting things inside here. What are they?
Glass is
broken.
broken.
Liquor.
The only thing
It's
I know,
broke, yeah.
the only thing I noticed, Bill, is the red flags going the wrong way.
Exactly. Yep. I have an idea that the person that was trying to put this into that glass bottle got so frustrated they just put it in like a garage, you know. But
I don't know that the flag is going the wrong way if there's a strong wind behind it.
Hmm.
Yeah, but then the sales would be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was one that I had taken both RAW and JPEG, and I found that using the RAW and be able to do a little more finite changes in the temperatures just seemed to give me the more pleasing, maybe to get it back to what I think I remember I saw when I took it. So, and this was, this was back in the old days. I had a crop sensor camera called a Canon 80D, which is what Frank Husking has. And yeah, I shot it at f/25 because I was really close to it. I was shooting it at 27 millimeters and 60th of a second. I had it on a tripod. And the ISO was about 800. So yeah, I really tried to go for the detail because I wanted to be able to really see the sails quite a bit. And what's even interesting is the blue bottom below the ship in the glass that just gives a little offsetting to the warmth of it. Because just like we always talk about complementary colors, something like oranges and yellows and reds are complemented by blues and greens.
Yeah, it's a really pleasing combination of colors for me.
Yeah.
I tried it in black and white just to see, but boy, that just took everything out of it.
Mhm.
And
Hey, Bill, is that jar sitting a little bit cattywampus? Did you place the jar that way? The bottle?
It was just where it was.
Okay. And then to the left, down there at the bottom, there seems to be some debris on that shelf, which is a little distracting. I don't know if that's in the wood or what it is.
I forgot to dust it before.
No.
No.
It's the left-hand side, the left to the bottom of the base.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all those little things I should have just hit with a spot healing brush. It could have.
Yeah. So is this sitting on the floor?
No, it's on a shelf above
Okay,
a fireplace.
Okay.
the reflection.
I like those. I like the debris in there. I
Because-
like it.
The reflection is really, really nice.
Yeah.
I love the shadows. I think the shadows make the whole image.
And I think in
It's
answer
interesting.
to Mark's first question about how it was sitting, I think it is angled right corner
Yeah.
closer than the back left. So
Mhm.
what do you start to say, Susan?
Oh, just that it's interesting. If you look at the shadow of the glass,
Right.
you don't really see how it's broken in the shadow.
That's right.
And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. Somehow you'd think you would see it differently, but you don't.
And the shadow actually looks like it's got a helicopter in it.
Yeah, I see that too.
Oh, it does.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bottom left has a wolf coming out of it.
Yeah.
Right there.
All
Wow.
right.
I like that image.
I think,
Interesting shots.
and
All
again,
right.
you know, these are things that, you know, I took a long time ago that never paid much attention to, and sometimes going back to old images, and, you know, it's a pretty interesting process.
Yeah. All right,
You should try,
Tom.
right? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Stealthy.
Nice.
So am I? Yeah.
You're
This
up.
was at this was at Tallulah's in Chapel Hill, and these were the water glasses. And I just was sitting there, and I just put the phone right in front of that glass and took a photograph of it. And there you have it.
It's cool.
Let's see. It's 28 millimeters, ISO 200 f1.8 at 1/60th of a second. And as I said, it was really well propped on the right on. I just set it right on the table, so it was I was able to get it pretty sharp.
Where was this again?
And Tallulah's, the Turkish restaurant in Chapel Hill on Franklin Street. And I took out the background. I took the restaurant out, and the waiter was standing there, and I took him out and all the paraphernalia in the back, and just concentrate on the glass.
But that's you.
So
that's you in the reflection, isn't it, Tom?
right. Yes. Yeah. And I did some crops like this. I cropped on the bottom, because the bottom of the glass was really cool looking. And I don't know, Mike, if you can do that to show just the bottom, the pedestal, and way down, and then drop it down further. Yeah, like that. I like that. And then I did the top. I was thinking it might make an interesting triptych to do the three, the top, the bottom, and then the whole thing.
Mhm. The colors that were picked up are exceptionally interesting.
Yeah, it
The
was like
gold
that.
and the blue.
The gold on the table, I thought was, wow, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's cool. Looks like it's raining gold.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great pick.
And this one I took through the car window. I was in the car, and there was a leaf on the windshield, and it started to rain, and I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. So I just put the phone on the under the leaf and took a shot of it. And then in the background is the tree, whence the leaf came. And I just thought it was really cool the way the water on the glass distorted the tree, but not the leaf. I'm not crazy about it, because the shape of the leaf is not great, and I can't really I couldn't get any of the detail in the leaf.
And I couldn't.
Yeah, it's abstract.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you've got more than one picture in a picture with the design
Yeah.
outside of the leaf. I couldn't tell
Yeah, I agree.
what the leaf was until I just blew it up, and then it became apparent to me. But there are some really neat abstract, and with what you can do with colors, some washes or whatever, that would have just looked incredible, I think.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where you make lemonade from lemons, where Yeah, and a lot of people, it'd be raining outside and they'd be in a car and their first thought is to get out and get in the house or wherever they're going. But really to take that moment and just look around and see it. And then have the wherewithal to take the images. You know, sometimes that's what we need to do is just not be in such a rush.
The idea of having these phones with us that are really good cameras is really good. It's it really helps me, and I suspect lots and lots of people see what's going on around them.
Mhm.
People look more now than they used to, I think, because they've got their phones and they really enjoy taking pictures of things.
I like your frame too, Tom.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. I think it's a little off white, a little off white.
Yeah,
A little
nice.
blue in it. Yeah.
Kind of, right, picks up a little bit of that blue.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, it was
All right.
fun, but I agree with you totally, Mike. And I'll send you some of the ones that I did with just concentrating on the abstract curlicues and vectors.
please do. All right,
Okay.
we're up to Helen. And Helen, I'll say up front that you have
Wow.
really,
Wow.
the last time and this time in particular, your images are just tack sharp. And you'll see what I really mean by that in the next one. But tell them what this is, Helen. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. It would have been a lot clearer if I had washed the bowl. This is a bowl that I guess was a wedding present to my grandmother in about 1915. It's cut glass crystal. It's about an 1/8 of an inch thick. Heavy as lead because I guess it's lead crystal. I don't know, but I was just playing and meant to go back and take all these pictures again and didn't. So they haven't been edited other than cropped. I was shooting into the light, into the sun from my dining room table, and also had a chandelier over it, giving some light too. And that is a substantial crop. I don't know which one that is. I guess that one, they're all at f/5.6, either 1/50th or one. That one could be 200. Anyway, ISO 200 was using an extension tube with my 27 to 85 zoom. I used my tripod. I turned image stabilization off.
Hey.
Yay! The big mistake was not washing the damn bowl. But anyway, as you can see, that's part of the flower motif of the cut glass.
Well, in addition to it being sharp, the depth of field is great. And you caught enough of whatever is going down into the left-hand corner to make that look like a stem.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't have been the same picture, but it wouldn't have been as good a picture if that top edge had not been made like a crown. I don't know, but really good shot. And then in terms of really seeing how sharp this is.
Oh, close up. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, nice work.
And then
That's a picture in a picture right there for an abstract or
Yeah.
there you
lines.
can see the dirt that I did not wash off, and I meant to go back and do it.
Shame on you, Helen. Shame on you.
That could
Do
be
we need to send you some Dawn?
I need some help here around the house cleaning the dirt off. But anyway, that's that flower.
And going back to where it came from, it's the area right in here, right, Helen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Good.
really, I like the proportions of the crop that you did. I like the way the shapes fit into it.
Mhm.
Really nice.
The craftsmanship, I can't imagine the craftsmanship that went into doing this when you start
Yeah.
looking at the detail. This is just a vase that I don't, or a bowl that I don't pay much attention to.
I,
And then
I-
I started
I don't-
looking at it, wow.
I don't know how it would even be possible to do this on glass.
I can't imagine.
Well,
I
these are
cannot
both keepers, and this one in particular.
Mhm.
Then
The
Helen had-
third one, if we have time, I like the best. Yeah, this one. That's the same bowl, but the stem is, well, if it's there, it's, anyway, it's the same bowl. But again, I'm shooting through 2 pieces of glass in this one that are 1/8 of an inch thick. So the haze, I meant to try haze reduction, and I never got around to doing that either, in addition to not washing the junk off the bowl. So, but thought it was an interesting.
One of the interesting things is you can see the flower reflected in the petal. I guess that's what that is.
Uh-huh.
All right, good series, Helen.
Really,
Mark,
Nice, well done.
really nice.
Markster.
Okay, couple things before. A lot of times when I want to shoot an image, I'll use my cell phone to scout out the image that I want to shoot so I can look at it and compose it. And as I told Mike in an email, I probably shot 40 images of these bottles. One of the things that I do is I cut bottles I have a bottle cutter. So these are actually 2 half bottles. You can't tell, but they're sitting on top of each other. And I took this with my iPhone in the portrait setting under stage light, because I wanted to try to capture the candle behind it to give it enough light to make it shine. But these are 2 bottles on top of it. I didn't get around to shooting this with my regular camera. I ran out of time. But when I saw Bill's image, I can actually now take and cut the bottom out of a clear bottle and put a boat in there and put the bottom back on and have a boat in the bottom.
That's cheating.
Just
That's cheating.
gave me a great idea, you know.
But don't forget the message slip.
Oh, there you go. But I played around with the stage light setting on the camera on the cell phone, so I could get this. If you all have not used the iPhone 14, it's got a portrait mode with a bunch of different settings, and this is called the stage light setting. And what it does is it specifically zeroes in on the center of the image, but you've got to put your camera, either up high or down low or in the middle, so that the stage light gets exactly where you want it. And that's what I did with that image. And the second image, Mike, can you show the second?
Yeah, hang on just a second. The candle in the back is the main source of lighting, and I don't know how you could have gotten the through the bottle lighting without something back there. I don't know that the candle was.
I think I have one that I did. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But if the second shot is a little different. That one is the candle is behind that clear bottle in the back. You can't see it. But this is again with that stage light zero right in on the 2 bottle tops. And I don't remember what I named that, bottle tops or heads up or something. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with it, and I just didn't get a chance to shoot it with my regular camera. So,
well, I think on this one, Mark.
Another bottle.
Well, I talked over you, Bill. What'd you say?
No, I said on the other one, the title could be "Crack Open Another One."
Mike, to your point, I'm going to go back later tonight and shoot that same shot without the candle.
Well,
I may have it because in a way, the candle might take away from what I was trying to,
yeah.
what I had in my mind for the composition.
Well, where I was
Now,
going.
Mark, on this one,
Go ahead, Bill.
I was just wondering, Mark, on this, did you do any kind of vertical or horizontal straightening on it?
You know, now that I look at it, it's slightly to the left. You're right. Thank you very much. I was hoping that you would point that out to everybody. Thank you. And also that little junk on the left could have been cropped out. Yes, sir, it could have. But you're right. Now that I look at it, it's the lean. Well, their bottles are on top of each other, man. Bottles aren't perfect. You know.
Yeah.
And the music behind it would be da 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 da.
No, you're right. It is probably 1 or 2 degrees to the left.
And Mark, what I started to say on this one is, given the simplicity of the outlines of those 2 bottles, I'm willing to bet that you could clone that candle out without ever leaving a clue that it was there.
Well, Mike, that's a good point. I'm gonna, if I can do it clean, so I don't hurt the edges of the 2 bottles stacked together. I'm gonna try that. That's a great point.
And
That's a good.
one way that I do stuff like that is to enlarge to like 150%, and you can just really get down into the pixels. But I think you could
That's
get
a great idea. Yeah.
of the white. And I think it's a really cool picture when you get to that point. But this one, the second one, is the lighting is really good, I think.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a good one.
Now, we're down to some folks that aren't here.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Yes.
One more thing. I want to make an advertisement. At our meeting tonight, and Helen, you can send out the Zoom address if you want to. We're doing a member presentation on, Mike, you've done this presentation a year or so ago, but it's on printing, matting, and framing, good, better, best. Okay, because we're having an exhibition coming up, so we're presenting to the members a variety of ways to print your image, how to mat it, frame it if you want to, and so forth. And I know, Mike, you did this some time back on the printing side, but if anybody wants to join tonight at 7 o'clock, Helen, you could send out the Zoom link, and we'd love to have you all as a guest.
Okay. Thanks for that.
End of commercial.
Very
These are
nice.
two.
The bill is in the mail.
These are 2 from Frank. And he thought he might be able to
Wow.
be here at the end, but he can pick up comments if he watches the video. So, and I suspect he'll do that. This is I didn't get a lot of details on this. This is a pendant. Any comments?
Both of them look like watercolors or acrylics. They don't
Is it a
look
pendant? Is it a pendant?
Yeah, it's a pendant. It's going back to see if he said any more about this one. Talks among yourselves.
Pretty picture.
Colors are fabulous.
Okay.
The color.
Here's
Super
what
sharp.
here's
It
what
is
he wrote.
sharp. I agree with you, Chuck.
Here's what he wrote to me. Crystal glass piece shot in front of a window. 110 millimeters, 1/800th of a second, 5.6 aperture, and 2000 ISO. He said he darkened the background a bit in Photoshop, increased clarity. I'm sorry?
There he is.
There's Frank.
You came in right at the right time, Frank. We just got started. I was reading your description.
His ears were burning.
It must have been, yeah. I would have been here at the start, but on Tuesdays I've got a visit with the oncologist after the treatment. And there's a lot of waiting around for that.
Well,
We were
we're glad
saying the
you're,
colors, it looks like a water, or acrylic, it looks like a painting.
The image that's up there, that was just a glass crystal that I had picked up, and I hung it on the inside of the window of my looking out on my backyard, and so it was just with the light coming in from behind it. I didn't have anything in front of it, and the only thing I did was I darkened the background a bit, like brushing in a lower exposure. Other than that, really nothing else to it. But I
nice.
just like the reflections that were coming off of it.
Now, what
And it
what's
is,
strange is that a couple of folks mentioned how sharp it was. Now, when I look at it, and I don't know if my glasses need to be cleaned, it's almost like it's not sharp, but there's so many like almost filaments of light
yeah,
in it,
that's
Yeah.
which
exactly
really
right.
draws
Yeah,
the colors out, which is really, because I can't look in there and say, where's the sharp place?
Yeah,
But I think it's because of the texture of
the glass.
the pendant that
yeah.
kind of moves it all together and kind of makes it this colorful thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of colors inside that piece. And again, depending on the light coming in, I mean, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I was about to say just what Bill said, that I think that it is a sharp picture with a lot of refraction in it, and that's what
Yeah.
makes you think it's a little
And it-
blurry, but it's not.
Right. And I was lucky. I could not see my reflection inside there.
Yeah.
Although I did it with a tripod. I put it on a tripod and did the photo.
Image stabilization off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I'm pretty-
Just checking.
You kind of got that built in, that as soon as I pull out the tripod, I turn it
Yeah.
off.
Is image stabilization off has been the password for about every photo today.
Right.
It seems. Now, Frank, is this next one the same thing from the same object?
It's the same image.
Ooh.
And what I did was I had learned this thing at my old camera club back in New Haven.
That's an orb.
6-step procedure you can do in Photoshop, starting off with
Right.
the filter and then distort. And then you do a couple of changes and you get weird results, which I luckily, I said, well, I'm going to take that picture and give it a try. And I hunted through my folder and I found the instructions for it. So it kind of gives a neat image.
Yeah, Kathy Kochever, who was in the group for a long while. She does a lot of orb stuff, and it is a cool technique.
It is. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to find it.
It's cool.
But,
Great.
That might be
Lot of
something.
complimentary.
I can just, it's only like 5 steps. I can just send them out to
Right.
anybody who
Yeah,
wants to
please
give it a
please
try.
do. Yeah, please do. Because that
You got to have Photoshop. You got to have Photoshop though.
Yeah, I don't know if Elements would do it. I was going to
Yeah.
give it a try with
The Elements will.
Yeah, and I
I've
don't know
done-
about Infinity. So I'm going to try it with both. And if it works with both, then I'll just send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
If you have it and you want to play around with it, go
Well,
ahead. It would be an interesting thing to do with somebody's, like, what do you call it? A self-portrait. And see what comes out. Yeah.
Well, and this
right
is
now,
this is another thing that might make a challenge.
Yeah.
Orb challenge.
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah. Nicely done, Frank.
Well,
Glad
I
you're
got
here.
everything. Yeah.
This is Melissa's, and I didn't get any. I don't think, I'll go back and look, but I don't think I got any comments about how she did this.
Yeah. I love the reflection on the wall of the
Wow,
Yeah, it's cool.
that is awesome.
That is,
Absolutely beautiful.
And I guess those are Venetian blinds that cast that shadow, but having that in the background adds to it too.
right, right.
Now, to me, that shadow makes the whole image. I
Oh,
love that
absolutely.
shadow.
Yeah.
Really.
And the part that I would like to know more about is if maybe she set it there and framed this up and maybe kept turning the bottle to get that shadow, particularly in the center of
Right.
the shadow,
Right.
because you have so much movement of the original bottle, you know, had the indentations or so. But yeah, the way the light just kind of tries to break out in that shadow is really interesting.
And the having black and white adds to it, in my mind.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's, yeah, exactly. Well, and
It
sticking
has
with
this noir feeling to it. Kind of
well, she didn't,
that ball at the
I think
top.
to the left,
looks
I
like
think
a
to the
cartoon.
left, the black dead spot. I don't know if the image would have been better if it was all white, because it's to the left, like I say, there's a dead spot there in black. To me, it kind of takes away from it a little bit. I love this image.
well,
Yeah,
continuing with the lighting, and maybe I got distracted looking for her comments and didn't hear it if you said it, but the streaks of light, with probably from a blind.
Right.
Right.
Well,
I think that's cool.
yeah, I don't, the dark.
You know,
if-
Frank, if you took that black out, you see that beautiful thing along the edge of the bottle against the black, that white. You'd lose that if it was white. I don't love that line.
I would have extended the white just right up until you hit the lines in the back, just to
Oh, yeah.
continue it, just that little itty bitty bit. But it's nice that it shows the shape of the bottle in the black.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just that little tad, just that little tad.
Yeah,
I don't think Melissa's on here, but that's just to say, that's a great image.
yeah,
Really beautiful.
she told me she had a conflict, but I'm sure she'll check the video. But if she doesn't, I'll just tell her that everybody was wowed by it, because I think that's the case. I mean, great image.
Mhm.
Very nice.
I went to the archives for two, and I guess we have time. This first one, it's not a still life. It's not a still life. It's a distilled life.
It's a martini.
It's a spirited
Great.
photo.
Right.
Yeah, I like that too, Chuck.
Oh, way to go, Chuck.
This,
I like the blue toothpick.
yeah,
That is.
I don't know how many of these I had to drink before I finally got a good shot. Actually, it's just,
Did images get better as you drank more?
in my mind, they did, but I didn't have enough depth of field at that point. Actually, it's water. It's water. But this was the shot that I mentioned, that I had two speed lights. One, they were both lying on the countertop. One on the left, one on the right. This was shot with a 100mm so-called macro, Zeiss macro. So not a zoom, 200 ISO, 5.6, and a 60th.
So
back.
so you had those trigger. You had the lights trigger from your in-camera flash. Is that how it?
Exactly, exactly. And you can even the older,
master slave.
yeah, even the older cameras and speed lights, you'd make the flash on the camera the master, and then you can
Mhm.
you can set the other two to trigger, and they can be set differently. You don't have to have them set
Yes,
identically. But
very cool.
anyway,
Yeah.
Mike, I think it's really beautiful. I have a couple of things that I really love that little dot of water at the rim.
oh,
I love
yeah,
that.
okay. I thought maybe I ought to
And
get rid of it.
no, no, I love it. And but there's some little white stuff on the olive that looks like it could go away.
Mm.
And yeah, like I guess there. And
Yeah,
also it yeah,
I see that.
yeah, that little stuff there. And then also, is it straight?
It may be a degree to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a little off. And it
Yeah.
would have been, I would have loved to have seen that base be in focus, I think, but maybe not. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, it was, it was
The blue.
it was 5.6, but it still
Mm.
didn't have much depth of field. And that's partially because it
Mhm.
was a 100 millimeter lens. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed taking
Mhm.
this one.
Beautiful.
The sharpness of the toothpick is incredible. Oh,
Wow.
colors.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was,
Oh my.
Beautiful.
this is something that we bought on my first trip to North Carolina. And it was along the Blue Ridge Parkway somewhere, and one of the rest stops, but it was really a craft colony as well. And the I have details on the artists, but they were sisters, and I think they worked in tandem. But um, uh, the outer rim is also a part of the plate, and the outer rim is a part of the plate. It's only about, I don't know,
Oh, okay.
about a foot wide, but that's all the image. I'm sorry, all of the layers. And there's a single little kind of Christmas tree light bulb behind it, and that was the lighting. I didn't do anything else to it, but
Wow.
And it gives you a feeling like you're almost looking up like in a Sistine Chapel.
Uh,
And the circles around it almost seem like they might be walkways or something like that.
yeah.
And yet you said it's only this little thing.
mhm.
Well, it's
You're right.
one of my favorite object d'art.
Yeah.
A lot of memories in that shot. So,
Complementary colors. Whew.
Very
Colors
nice.
are exquisite.
well, I didn't know it at the time how this was done, but I later did learn that it's fusing chunks of glass that are put on glass and then heated in a kiln until they melt. And that is how I believe it was. You can kind of see the individual pieces when you get in close to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And how did you light it, Mike? With a Christmas tree light? Where is it? Where's
there's
the light?
the plate came with a light. It came with its own stand, and there's a little small Christmas tree light bulb behind it, just a single bulb, tiny one,
Oh, okay.
and the light
Okay.
just reflects all the way through it with that little tiny bulb.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
So I have one question.
Mhm.
yeah,
Would it improve the image if those four corners weren't white?
yeah, and that my eye goes to that too, Lynn. And I think what I was trying to do was to bracket it, like um, vignette, but in white. And
Mhm.
I think it was also in my mind that I wanted that to look like the other to give reference to the fact that that's another plate, but I didn't want a lot of
Yeah.
it. I didn't want a
All
lot
right.
of it, but it's a good comment. And these
Yeah.
are images I took a decade ago, and whether I would do the same thing with it again, I have no idea. But anyway,
You still have the
all
plate?
oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
That light's turned on every day in the week behind it. I love it.
Hmm.
Stop share.
Very nice.
All right, good meeting. I thought.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I
Pete,
say
yeah,
this
great to see
every
you again.
time. I say this every time, but the creativity, the imagination, I guess is what I want to say this time, the imagination that was involved in all of these pictures.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Well, next meeting 2 weeks at the church, and Frank's maybe going to.
Artificial light.
Artificial light, flashlight, or whatever.
And
Okay.
if anybody with a Nikon wants to borrow a strobe light, I'm happy to do that. I may wind up with 4 here before too long, but
Hey, hi, everybody.
all
right.
right. Take
Bye.
care.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Have a great day.
see
Bye-bye.
ya.
Bye.
Thank you.